Hello fellow builders and welcome back to the bench. Mediocre Modeler here and I'm ready to start a new build. And not just any build. So recently I was going through all my greeblies, all my disassembled odds and sorts. And I realized that I have been building like 3D models and or I guess it's been a little while since I have done a production kit, but it's been forever since I've just done a straight up, no holds barred scratch build. And originally, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna scratch build a model just with no 3D parts. And the model I decided to scratch build is gonna have at least one 3D part. But the what's the reason for having all these extra pieces? And it really made me think, as I'm sorting through all these pieces and parts looking for whatever, I started thinking about that. And this is part of what I'm going to build. I'm going to build a hover tank. But this piece here, this is part of the Star Wars Episode 1 STAP. The flying STAP. It's the thing with that the droids fly on. And I painted it. I bought one. I painted it. I built. It's a good sized model. I mean, the droid, I don't know where the droid is, around here somewhere, but it stands about like yay tall. I mean, it's about 12 inches tall. So. And I feel like I did a really good job painting it. But I realized after looking at it and not displaying it, and then ended up in a tote, and then pieces started falling off of it. I was like, you know what? I really don't like that model. You get to the point where you like pieces, but not the whole. So I like this part of it, and stand by. These are the engine pods. I like these, and I've got my 1/12 scale Mandalorian that I want to make a speeder bike for, and I think that's probably what I was scrounging parts to make a speeder bike, and these were the engines. Well, these are the engines that went with that, so that model is going to be separated and go donated parts for other models. So I really appreciate. It's just like, oh, well, I'm going to get more models out of this, and they're going to be scratch build models that I'm going to love, as opposed to the one model that I built that I really don't care about. That being the case, there's a tank model, and I think this is a T60 tank. And here I've had this. I have no idea where. I think I bought a lot of models. I bought what's the word? A model lot. Whatever. And there were some tanks in there, and I don't like the bottom part of the tank at all. I don't like building treads for the most part. I do like the top. I didn't like the turret. Let me show you the turret. Okay. I need to mark this armor, but this is just like pieces of... And I've got the majority of the pieces. Like there's the actual bare turret, but this is the turret. I'm just like, but when you do this, I'm like, okay, now we're talking. I'm just like, oh, okay. So the thing about scratch building is finding pieces that are going to connect this to this to make it look like it's supposed to be that way and seamless. And so my original goal was to just go with found pieces from other kits. And so you got that. And I'm like, you know, looks like it's about the same size as the top part of the Millennium Falcon model, which I have several of. So there you go. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, okay, well, look at that. It fits right on there. And then, but I needed to be able to put that on there and connect this to this somehow. Well, now it's one is too low and it's not going to be able to turn. And I really want it to be able to turn. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to fix that? Well, I need to raise it. And I want it to be able to smoothly turn. So this is where I had to step a little bit outside of my rule of it only being model kit pieces. Because once again, I went to my savior, Fusion 360. And I came up with this little plate. It's got a center hole that matches, so it's going to lock in. I've got another piece that I'm going to put on the inside, and there'll be a screw that holds them together, so it will be able to turn. I also had to make it to where this, which has a little lip around it, would fit onto this. So nice and snug. Nice and snug. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Okay, it may need a little bit of work. Or maybe this is what the one. I know I had more than one of those. But the point is, I'm hoping that this is the only piece that I'm going to need to finish this kit. Now, this part where the tank treads go, I just don't like the bottom. Okay, I'm okay with the front, all right, and I'm okay with the back. Although I need to go dig through my parts to see if I can find that piece there. I'm pretty sure I've already used that on another model, and that's the thing about scratch building. You can get into this little thing where you're just like, oh, I want to use that piece, but what if I need it for something better? And you just don't know. So sometimes you got to use it, but then you get into this situation where you're like, okay, now I'm at that point where, boy, I wish I had that piece, but now I have to find another piece from another model to go cover that up because I used that piece for something else. What do you do? It's just, at this point, all you're doing is, there's a model. It's kind of like the way they talk about a sculptor used to say, well, here's the stone. The statue is in there. I just have to tease it out. This is kind of the same thing. The model is in there. And it's just a matter of me finding the pieces around to get on there to make it into the final thing. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna figure that out. We're gonna go do a little bit more scrounge to see if we can find that part. But if I can't find that part, we're gonna have to find something else to cover that up. And then we're going to start putting this together. See what we can do. All right, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so I've gathered some pieces here. Obviously, we got the turret, and like I like to, if I'm going to scratch build, I like symmetry. So I try and gather. There are times for symmetry, and there's times for asymmetry. So for the sides of the tank and everything like that, I want the sides to be symmetrical. I guess we've established that. Anyway, so I've got some pieces, and guess what? I found the back piece. So that's awesome. Now, we have to make a few decisions here. My original thought was using these. Now, these are the nacelles off of a Klingon something. And so I was thinking this configuration right here like that, which isn't bad, And then you add the turret, you can have propulsion and guns, 4 guns. That way you can, turn the turret and still be on target this way, but shooting at something over here as well. But this felt a little bit wide. And then as I was playing with these, I kind of put them together, kind of close together, and that's when I go, okay, I need to use these for my Mandalorian speeder bike. So that's kind of, like I said, propulsion and guns. So that's probably, we're going to set these aside. Now these are the nacelles of a runabout, yeah. And the way I was looking at this was, originally, this is how they sit, because you got the landing pads on the bottom. And I thought, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. And I'm like, oh, that's almost perfect like that. So I just got to decide how much I want it to show, But that works perfectly. So we're definitely, and I like the pattern there on the side. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use these. Boom, boom. But if I can't just put them on because it sits too low, so I'm going to have to lower these a little bit. Probably going to drop it about right there, which gives me these 3 holes that I can accessorize with something. But again, I need to decide how far in or out I want that to be. I kind of want to be able to see the blue. So in order to push it out, what I did was went and got some 1/8 rod, right? And I'll have to modify it a little bit, but it'll fit into where the tank spindles go. So I need to cut some of these all to an identical length that I've decided. And then that'll go out there like that. And then we build up. Now, the other thing we have to, and this is where my brain starts going into overdrive, is, so that goes on there like that, good to go. Okay. So the question is, who's operating the tank? Is it a droid tank? Because if it's a droid tank, we can just start painting. We're good to go. But are there beings in this tank operating? Well, if there are, how did they get in it? And then I'm like, okay, well, if it's a tank being operated by people, we need to be able to get them in there. And then now, there you go. There you go. Is that too much? Is that overkill? Is that, I don't know. It looks like a cobbled mess right now because you have all these different colors. But once you get it all the same color, well, it kind of changes things. So let's kind of get to that state. Let's get this. I did have to do one more piece in order to attach this to this. Again, my savior, Fusion 360, I went and made this little doo-doo hat. Don't say si, say we.
Si, don't say si, say we.
Yeah. But that fits on there just nice like that. That way I can glue that to that, and we're good to go. It sits on there. It's level. It's nice. It still allows us our ability to turn. So we can assemble. Let's start that. That's a bit of overthinking right there. Will they still be able to get the things up? Don't worry about it. Just glue it. Just glue it. Yeah, this is the rest of the staff. I'm thinking about doing something with it. Cutting it up or something. I don't know. But there she sits. Oh, no. Okay. I almost messed up. I can't glue that on yet because I still have to put... I have to assemble it. Yep, almost messed up. Have to lower the mount for the turret by 1/4 of an inch using 1/4 inch square styrene. And I know I just want it to be. Let's go cut that. There's this little notch that I was trying. I mean, it's a teeny tiny notch, and I cut this big old gouge out of it. See that? That's what I cut out, and that's all I needed. This itty bitty. It fits. And the nice thing is, you just flip it over. Just flip the piece over to the other side. You're good. So that side's good. Come over here, the other side. Going to do the same thing. So when I'm trying to attach the turret, it wasn't fitting right. It was a little bit too high and I kept adjusting it. I thought maybe I used the wrong turret. And so I get the Dremel out and start adjusting it and gouging pieces out. Come to find out, I overthought it. I added a washer, which raised the bolt that was holding the turret together. So I had to disassemble it and pull that washer out, and then everything fit just fine. The base color I chose was a Humbrol Desert Yellow. But now it's time to find some other accent colors to make it a little bit more sci-fi. I want to have some gunmetal in there, so I'm taping up the turret and masking off some pieces to where I can add my gunmetal accents. Typically, I never work on one model at a time, and it just so happened I remembered I had this old resin tank from Tron. And since I was already working on a tank, and it was a hover tank, why not? So I'm just going to have to change the title of this from Hovertank to Hovertanks. Now, this is a resin kit, and the problem with the old resin kits, at the time they were just spot on, but there's a lot of pitting and a lot of work that needs to be done to get these on track. I just wanted to assemble this, and I'm just going to put it on the shelf. So we're just going through and getting the things we need to get done, sanding off the burrs, making sure everything's lined up and straight, and then we're just going to put paint on it. In order to secure the front and back of the turret, I'm drilling holes in it and adding a small piece of brass rod to make sure the barrel was straight. Okay, I know it feels kind of like we switched gears here because we're working on one tank and then, hey, we got another tank. But stick with me here because, like I said, this... Really, Cat? This one, like, quick and easy. Quick and easy. Now, the only thing is, I want on the Tron tank, this isn't all red. And it's black and all the edges are red. I'll put up a picture somewhere here. And that's kind of what I was going for in kind of masking it. Either it worked or it didn't. So if it didn't work, we just go back to painting it all black and then do some red accents. But for the most part, what we're wanting to do is just see what then we're going to have to come in and do some little touching up here and there. Because we got some red paint where we didn't want red paint, but that's kind of the way it goes. Okay, I'm not mad at that. So on this side, I got a little bit too much. I didn't get enough masking tape there to cover that up. Let's make sure that's not... Yeah, that's paint. Yep. But it just gives us little hints just here and there what it kind of sort of is supposed to look like. I can live with that. I can live with that. Now, I had the idea of what it would be, the Tron tank would look like if I was in the Tron digital world. And all the red would have to be purple. And then everyone would go, I see what you did there. But I'm happy with the red. I really am. You see it, and you know immediately what it is. So, and you know what? I think I'm going to be good with that. I don't think I'm going to do anything else to it. I might touch up here and there, get some black touch up on some of the places where the masking tape pulled it up. But for the most part, that's going to be good. We're just going to leave you right there for the moment. We'll get you glued. Don't worry about... Oh, is there more tape? Oh, there's a little bit more tape. Yeah, okay. I'm good with that. Okay. Okay. Now, this guy. Again with the masking. But we don't want cross-contamination with our paint. So, we mask it. I wanted some gunmetal on here. Just offset that desert yellow. Not too much. Yup. Nice. I know you like this. I like this. But This is the magic right there. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Oop. Well, how that happened, I missed a little, so I got some gunmetal on my desert mustard, but, you know, hey, good. All right. All right. You like that? And then this guy. It's a good start. We're just going to stop right there. Because, yeah, like I said, I still haven't decided where there's going to be mand or not. We have to add that in there somewhere. I'm feeling pretty good about where we're sitting right now. Scratch building is always kind of tough because no one can really tell you you're doing it wrong because you're creating something that doesn't exist. But at the same time, there's got to be a balance there. You know, everything has to be in scale, and just it has to look right. If it doesn't sell as a whole, it doesn't sell as a whole. But that's where, like I said, I'm on the fence about whether I put the hatch in the top, because I think it looks pretty good as just like a droid tank. There's a lot of holes. There are light holes and tanks and tow hooks and all kinds of little stuff that I need to find off of the tree and glue on there. So we're going to save that for the next video. I didn't think this was going to go to, I thought it might, but I think getting the rest of that stuff together will kind of push it over the top. The Tron tank isn't going to take much. It's going to just take a little bit of touch up here and there, and it's going right on the shelf. So once it goes on the shelf, I'll put some pictures up on Facebook, and you'll all get to see it. But for right now, it's time for you to go build something. I know you knew I was going to say it. You know it's coming. You know it's coming, so I don't know why you're surprised. So get out there. I know the holiday season is coming up. Honestly, this is kind of a PSA for you regular hobby shop goers. The holiday season is coming up, and so a lot of the holiday shoppers are going to be in the shop. So you might want to get in there now and get all the good stuff that you really want, all the paints you want, and all the stuff you really need to get stock up, and then be done with going to the hobby shop until after Christmas, until the after Christmas sales kick in. But until next time, have fun, be safe, and go build something. Pew 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 pew.